day to all our viewers out there. My name is Heinrich Neertlin and welcome to Mathematical Literacy. In today's lesson, we'll focus on perimeter and circumference. Now, as per the usual, let me quickly share something very interesting with you. Now, did you know that mathematicians discovered years ago, right, that all circles have one thing in common? The ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter is a constant number called pi, right? Written as the symbol as we can see here, okay, at the bottom, which equals to 22/7 or 3,141 and a whole lot of other numbers. Okay, so that is quite interesting. So what are the lesson objectives? So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to, first of all, define perimeter and circumference. You must be able to distinguish between diameter and radius. Also important is that you must be able to use appropriate formulae successfully, and then identify and work with correct units. Right. Also important in today's lesson is for you to calculate perimeter and circumference. Okay, so this is basically what we'll expect, right? So there's our concept map. We'll focus today on perimeter and circumference. So we will do some explanation and some examples. Okay, so let's look at some important terminology, right? So we are saying here that breadth, or referred to sometimes as width, is how wide something is, okay? Then on the other hand, we have length. Now length is the measurement between 2 points in a straight line. For example, the length of your bedroom. Okay, then also we have what we call diameter. Now the diameter is a straight line, right, passing through the center of a circle and touching the circle at both ends, thus dividing the circle into two equal parts, right? We will also look at the radius. So the radius is the distance from the center of the circle to any point on that circle, right? Okay, the circumference of the circle. So basically it's half your diameter. Then what else do we have? Okay, I mentioned it's half of the diameter. Then also pi. Pi is quite important in today's lesson. And we said pi equals 3,141592645 with other numbers to follow, as we can see there. But remember, we use the approximate value of 3,142. Okay. Now let's quickly look at some of the formulae that you might need in today's lesson or moving forward. So we said here that the rectangle, in order to calculate the perimeter of a rectangle, we will say then 2 times your length plus 2 times your width. Okay, so we can see there. Then when it's a square, right, it's 4 times the length, right? Or we can say it's 4 times the side, as indicated in our diagram there. Then when looking at the triangle, right, we will take length 1 plus the length of side 2 plus the length of side 3. So we're basically adding the sides together. And then when we look at circumference, we will say it's pi times 2 times radius, or we can say pi times diameter. Remember, why diameter? 2 times radius, right? 2 times radii will give you your diameter. Okay, so let's do a quick practice, all right? And I want you to answer these questions with me. So the first question here says, define the term perimeter. All right, so what is perimeter? So we can basically say that perimeter is the total distance or length, right? Total distance or length around the boundary of a shape, right? Around the boundary of any shape, geometrical shape. So that is, so it's basically the length there around the boundary of a shape. Then question number 2. It says here, choose the correct answer. So let's see. The question at the end says, the formula for calculating circumference, right? Is it A, where we say circumference equals pi times radius squared, or is it B, where we say circumference equals 2 times pi times radius? Now in this case, your answer will be number B, right? If you look at this formula here, that is the formula for calculating the area of a circular object. Guys, are we clear? So circumference equals 2 times pi times radius. Okay, let's look at another question. So now moving on to question number 3. here we are saying true or false. Okay, so let's read the statement. It says the diameter is a straight line passing through the center of a circle and touching the circle at both ends, thus dividing the circle into two equal parts. Right, if you've listened carefully, I've indicated this statement right, so that is indeed true. Okay, that is the diameter. And then one last question. It says, determine the radius, right, of the cylindrical bucket. There we have the cylindrical bucket, if the diameter of it is 20 centimeters. So we are basically saying from here to there, right? That's your diameter, and that's 20 centimeters, right? We know then we'll take 20 centimeters and we divide that by 2, because your radius is half your diameter, making this then 10 centimeters. Guys, are we clear on that? All right. Now let's look at some other important language, right, and terminology that's important for our lesson. Okay, so I've said here that perimeter is the total length of the outside of a shape, or it's the continuous line forming the boundary of a closed geometric figure. Okay, so total length of the outside of a shape, the boundary basically. Perimeter is calculated by adding the lengths of each side of a shape, right? Then it's measured in millimeters, centimeters, meters, or kilometers. So this we call the unit. Now, the unit we'll use is then either millimeters, centimeters, meters, or kilometer, one-dimensional, right? Then circumference. What is circumference? Circumference is the perimeter of a circle, right? So basically the distance around a circular object. Guys, are we clear on that? All right. Let us quickly take a short advert break. After the break, we'll put all of this into practice. See you now.